Hello, I'm Bruce Gordon with the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. Thank you for joining us here today, and those of you who are watching online, thank you for joining us as well. As you probably know, in Minnesota, there are legal and illegal fireworks. You should probably also know that any fireworks could be dangerous. In Minnesota, in the last 5 years, 362 people had to visit an emergency room because of fireworks-related injuries. Some of those injuries were severe, including the one that almost claimed the life of one of our speakers here today. Nick Beheng will be telling his story in just a few moments. He was severely injured in a illegal fireworks accident that occurred about 4 years ago. You also hear from Dr. William Moore, M-O-H-R. Dr. Moore operated on Nick when he came into the hospital at Regions. He is the Regions Hospital burn surgeon and co-director of the Burn Center at Regions. And first of all, you're going to hear from Jim Smith. He is the Chief Deputy State Fire Marshal and a former St. Paul Fire Department Assistant Chief. Jim.
Thank you, Bruce. Well, the 4th of July holiday weekend is upon us, and by all outward signs, it looks like it's going to be a great weekend. The weather's going to be phenomenal, which means people are going to be outside barbecuing, having block parties, having friends and family over, and most assuredly, they're probably going to partake in lighting off fireworks. The State Fire Marshal Division wants everybody to have an enjoyable weekend and remind everybody, if you are going to be lighting off fireworks, that they must be Minnesota legal fireworks. Now, those fireworks that are illegal in Minnesota, which are typically purchased from outstate retailers and brought back into the states, include exploding devices such as firecrackers, ladyfingers, bottle rockets, aerial devices such as Roman candles, shot tubes, and artillery shells. Those that are legal in Minnesota include things like sparklers, ground spinners, fountains, snakes, snappers, and poppers, things that emit sparks. But we want you to remember that even legal fireworks can be dangerous. Sparklers, for example, burn at over 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're playing with sparklers, and most assuredly if you're giving sparklers to your children, make sure that you monitor their activity all the time. Make sure that you observe the 5-foot rule, that there is nobody within 5 feet of the child with the sparkler, and there's nothing that can ignite within 5 feet of the child with the sparkler. And always have a bucket of water handy, because the bucket of water, all I have to do is drop the sparkler into the bucket of water, and it's the most efficient, cleanest way of putting out that sparkler. Last year, over 89 people were treated for injuries due to fireworks, and those are the reported injuries to the State Fire Marshal Division. Over 40% of those incidences happen to people who are 19 years or younger. But the most disturbing fact of all is that 19 of those injuries happened to children under the age of 9 years old. Fireworks can and are dangerous. If you're going to play with fireworks this year, play it safe with fireworks. Have an enjoyable and hospital-free weekend. Thank you.
Hi. The Consumer Product Safety Commission last year found over 12,000 injuries across the United States from fireworks, again concentrated around the time period of the 4th of July. Now, those are just numbers of patients that are going into the emergency department. So like our 89 in Minnesota last year, those are only those severe enough to be treated by medical personnel. The vast majority are followed up in their primary care clinics or by good old Dr. Mom. We at the Burn Center took care of 25 patients in that week after the 4th of July, just in our clinic, with a handful of patients being injured severely enough to be hospitalized. Now, those injuries are sometimes tragic. They are injuries that are even using legal fireworks, such as sparklers. Combining several sparklers at once and lighting them can cause a rapid flash, which can burn faster than you can let go of them, causing deep injuries. Poppers and articles like that can ignite quickly and burn in your hand or have ignited in people's pockets, causing deep injuries. So even the legal fireworks can cause significant injuries that may need an operation. The more severe injuries, again, every year there are people who are losing fingers. We had a child lose an eye several years back and even had fatalities. It's these types of injuries that are the most scary because of just how quickly they can occur. Now, before Nick comes up and talks, one of my partners, Dr. Bruce Bennett, is a military surgeon, and he was operating that first night on Nick. And he commented that these are the same types of combined burn trauma injuries that are seen in the military theater. So these aerial mortars can be devastating. And as Nick comes up and tells his story, keep in mind that we would like nothing better to see no one come in for firework injuries this 4th of July holiday. Thanks.
Hi everybody, I am Nick. I was injured in May of 2012 with a fireworks accident. I had bought a mortar fireworks from Wisconsin, was playing with them unsafely, holding them in my hands, lighting them off. I had put the firework in upside down and had been holding the mortar in my hand. It then exploded, blew black down, blew my thumb off, shot into my chest, gave me some very, very serious injuries. You know, after that happened, I kind of went into shock. I don't remember much of it, but you know I put my family through hell. I put myself through hell. It's kind of hard to talk about. I'd been using fireworks since I was a kid, 31 years old when this happened. Hey, this can't happen to me. I made a mistake, one little mistake that almost killed me. With mortar fireworks, they're dangerous. They should be treated like a loaded firearm. They need to be treated with respect. You know, you can't be drinking with them. You wouldn't let your friend shoot a gun. You probably wouldn't let your friend shoot a firework either when they've been drinking. I have nothing but thanks to Dr. Moore, Dr. Bennett, Regents Hospital. They did a lot to save my life and put me here to still be here for my family and my child and everything today. You know, the one thing that I can say that I've learned from my experience is that one small little mistake can make the difference between life or death. Fireworks are going to be out all over this weekend, and before you light it up, hold it in your hand or do whatever, make sure you're doing it safe. Use the legal ones. If you want to play with Wisconsin fireworks, well, stay in Wisconsin or something. We don't care about them Packer fans anyway. Just kidding. We like them enough. But the point of my coming here and stuff is I'm not looking for sympathy. I want to help save somebody else from doing to them what I've done to myself. I have a short thumb. I have a hard time picking stuff up, dropping things. Some serious chest injuries. I'm very lucky that I have no lingering problems anymore. It's all okay. But there's a little bit one way or the other with what happened to me. I could be disabled, I could be dead, I could be blind. I just can't imagine the possibilities of what would have happened if something worse. You know, with that, I just want to conclude with, you know, be safe out there. Leave the mortars to the pros. Bad things will happen. Very thankful, Dr. Moore, Dr. Bennett, Department of Public Safety, for having me come talk to you guys. Thank you.
Thanks. We'll open it up for questions for any of the speakers at this point.
Thank you, Nick, for talking with us. Can you share a little bit more just about what your injuries were? You said it sort of blew a hole.
Yes. So I was holding the mortar kind of up in the air like this, and then by the time I realized I had it in upside down, I tried to throw it. It exploded in the tube, shot through, took my thumb off, hit my chest, took a chunk off of my heart, collapsed a lung, part of my liver, took a chunk of my liver off, all kinds of internal damage. It was pretty darn serious. I was in Regions for, I think it was about 2 weeks in the intensive care unit, several surgeries. After that, I was in the burn unit for another couple weeks. It was about a month before I got out. I was out of work for 6 months. It was pretty bad. Skin grafts. I don't know if anybody's ever had a skin graft, but I had skin graft taken off my leg. It's the most painful experience in the world, especially after the first couple days. You try to walk, you can't even walk because it's almost like horrible sunburn. So yeah, I had that. I had apparatuses all over my chest. I had to carry around a little bag with the suction hoses and sucking all the pus and blood and stuff out. And hand was wrapped up in a bag, and I'm right-handed. I'm taking calls for doctor's appointments, and I can't write down when I gotta go because it's really tough to write left-handed if you're not left-handed. And you know, I was very thankful. I had supporting family, friends there to help me out. I don't know how I would have done it without them. My fiance Heather is here. She was with me on my side the entire time. And the doctors and nurses at Regions were absolutely incredible. They did great. I'm not telling you to go play fireworks so that you can see them, but they're awesome. I'll always remember that.
And sort of what I'm hearing, you had done this in the past. People we know are very casual and complacent about running over to Wisconsin, picking up some fireworks and bringing them back to the weekend. It sounds like
yeah, it was a
pretty
Sunday.
casual to you.
Let's go to Wisconsin. Liquor store's open. We can go there. And fireworks right across the street. Let's stop there, grab some too. Bad combination, real bad.
Knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently?
I would not have held the fireworks in my hand to begin with. I can't lie to you and say I wouldn't have bought the fireworks because I really did enjoy using the fireworks. But I definitely wouldn't use them improperly. And I never had done it before that. So it was something, I had a bunch of people over, we were partying. Oh, I'll show off, hold it up. I heard news stories last year about a guy who tried to launch one off the top of his head and it killed him. Or that football player that blew his fingers off and lost his $1 million contract. It can happen to anybody, not just me. I consider myself a regular guy, halfway intelligent. I should have been smarter. I should have been smarter, And it's just one simple mistake that can really, really ruin things for a guy.
What went through your mind when it actually happened?
I was at my house and I stumbled through the door and all I could say was call 911 now, and I lay down on the porch. And it wasn't much longer after that. I was in shock and woke up in the hospital. And I knew what had happened. I wouldn't say I was in a coma, but I was definitely out. Weird dreams, and it was crazy. I heard a story. It was Heather told me. I woke up and I just looked at her and I said, boom, and I closed my eyes and went back to sleep. It was a terrible experience. And it can happen to anybody.
Does that, Nick, change how you look at fireworks today?
Yes, it does. I am banned by my family to play with fireworks, which is fine with me. I do enjoy them still from a distance, but as far as being hands-on with them, not anymore.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. That's so personal. Thank you.
You bet.
We don't usually hear this perspective on it.
It is a definitely a new perspective. I've told people I've seen, I'll be at the beach, I'll have my shirt off. They'll see my big giant scars, and what the hell happened to you? Well, firework. It's as simple as that. Kind of told my story. I've told it 100 times. This is a little different with everybody here in the cameras. It's a little more nerve-wracking, but I still want to get that out and let people know how dangerous they really are. You got to leave that stuff to the pros.
I had a question for the doctor.
Yes, please, Dr. Moore.
Just, you talk about a lot of hand injuries, people losing eyes, other injuries. How lucky is Nick in the grand scheme of things when you first saw him come in this condition?
He was very fortunate. He came in with about a fist-size hole right over the heart. Injuries directly to the heart are fairly unforgiving, and he was fortunate that that it took out a piece of muscle and was not torn all the way into the inside chamber. But the liver injury was pretty devastating. He actually had part of the charge embedded into the left portion of his liver here. And so he was pretty fortunate, literally, a half an inch in towards the center portion of his heart, and he would not be here. So it grabs your attention when they come in with a wound there. And he, again, was very fortunate. I wouldn't call getting blasted in the heart with a firework lucky, but he had the right combination of circumstances where he could survive, and all the hard work is entirely his. That's a lot to come back from. He lost ribs, he lost cartilage. The gap in the ribs were kind of cinched down with wire, so that we could have something to close over that area. He had to go through multiple operations to reconstruct the soft tissue that sits on top of the bones, the ribs, to close the defect. And that's a long haul. That's a lot of therapy on the thumb, on the hand. He has grafts on his hands as well, to get back to leading his life again and being with this family and being able to come and talk about it. So again, that's a lot of hard work on his part. We were just there at the beginning. So.
Any other questions?
Nick, would you feel comfortable showing us like your thumb or some of your scars?
Yes.
To get some shots of? Okay.
Yeah.
Hold it up.
We could do that.
Hold it up a little bit
Yeah.
there. Hold up the other side too there next time.
So this is what I call my thub.
Then the skin graft on the other side.
I do this with the kids, but it isn't this. Then I have on my leg, I have a skin graft. You can't really tell anymore, but they took a chunk from there to there.
You did a good job.
And then Jen from the Department of Public Safety does have some other photos that she could share with you as well.
Thank you.
All right, we're all good?
We're good.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
You need it.
Where's it
You
going?
need it again.
No, I mean.